Hey guys, what's up? I'm back. My name is Jillian, also known as Jillian Jukes, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make blueberry buckle.
Okay, so we're making a blueberry buckle. So what you're going to start with, I didn't show you, you're going to need a standard sized loaf pan, and you're going to line it with parchment paper, just the bottom and the sides. And then we're going to start on our streusel. So you're going to add 85 grams of all-purpose flour, 95 grams of granulated sugar, and 3 grams of cinnamon to a small bowl. Just give that a little mix together with a whisk or a spoon. Doesn't have to be thorough, just a nice little light mix. And then you're going to go ahead and cut/rub in some butter. We've got 48 grams of unsalted butter. Doesn't have to be warmed, doesn't have to be softened. Right out of the fridge, nice and cold. It's fine. You're just gonna cut that. Well, I just smushed it with my fingers because that's easier. And then you're gonna mash it into your nice flour sugar mixture just to get it like a little bit bigger than pea-sized. It's all gonna get melted, so it doesn't really matter how big you have it. Just not one big block, you know? Set that aside for later, and you're gonna get your dry ingredients all mixed together. So we've got 330 grams of all-purpose flour, 9 grams of baking powder, and a nice sized pinch of salt. You're going to give that a whisk together as well, and then you're going to set it aside, and it will be added in later. Now what we have is a large mixing bowl. We are going to add 88 grams of vegetable shortening. This is the only recipe I found where vegetable shortening is better. I tried it with butter, was not great. Vegetable shortening just works here. We're going to add 155 grams of granulated sugar and go ahead and cream that together until it is nice and light and fluffy. This will be faster than it would be if you were trying to do it with butter, just because shortening is a little bit softer. So it'll take a fair bit less time. And then you're going to go ahead and crack in 1 egg, preferably room temperature, not fridge temperature. At the very least, if all you have is fridge temperature, then leave it in a little bowl with some nice warm water covering it for a couple minutes so it'll warm up at least a little, make it less likely to separate in your batter. Give that a thorough mix, and then we're going to alternate adding our dry and our wet ingredients. So we're going to add 1/3 of our dry, and then we'll go half our wet, third our dry, half of the wet, rest of the dry. So we're going to give that a mix. Don't mix it all the way through, just do like until it's almost combined. It's still a little bit crummy, you know. You don't want to develop any gluten in here, you'll get a really tough cake. So that's 125 grams of milk. You're starting with half of that, mixing it in, back to our flour, and then back to our milk, and then the last of our flour. Rinse and repeat. And then again, even at the end, I don't like to thoroughly mix it with the beaters because this is a really thick batter and it's really easy to overmix it, and you don't want that. So I'm just going to finish up with a spatula, make sure I get all those loose little flour bits, get everything nice and combined and ready to go. Okay, now for assembly, we'll need our loaf pan and our fruit. What I've got here are some frozen blueberries. It's the middle of the winter, so I didn't really want to use fresh blueberries because they're not as good. And I wasn't really feeling the other fruits. You could do maybe apple. I've never done it with apple, but I was really feeling blueberries, so I had to use frozen. If it's the summertime, use fresh. It'll be better. And then the last thing we have is our streusel topping. So we're gonna do a nice little bit of layering here. You don't have to eyeball this, but you want about half of your batter, and then you're gonna put your blueberries in the middle, then you're gonna go the other half of your batter, and then you're gonna cover it all up with your streusel mixture. I just like to press it down in with my hands so it gets all the way to the bottom, right up against that pan, so it'll get nicely browned. Nice even color. Just like that. Put in your blueberries. Be careful not to touch them and stain your hands. Then the other half of your batter, press it in nice and even and flat. And then you're going to cover it with your streusel. You want to add as much of this streusel as you possibly can. It is so good. If you can't get it all, at least make sure you get all the butter, because that's like the important part, you know. And then this is going into a 360-degree oven, and 50 minutes plus cooling time later, you should have something that looks like this. You see all the streusel has nicely melted in. Our whole cake, it's nice and brown and golden, and your parchment in here is really going to help you out, because you only have to pry the cake away from the two small sides, and then you can just lift it up by the tabs just like that. Nice, easy, minimal cleanup, super easy. And then see that we've got brown all the way down to the bottom because we pressed it nice and tight up against the side of our pan. And we've got this really, really pretty blueberry layer going all the way through. It's like a little vein of blueberries, which I like. And it looks great. It's just such a cute little loaf cake, you know? And it's great if you use other fruits, something like raspberry. Really pretty. Just a great cake. And yeah, that's it.
Alright, we're all done. This recipe is honestly so good, so tasty, so easy. If it's the summertime and you can get seasonal berries, it's even better. And you don't have to use blueberries, you can use whatever you like. Raspberry is always so good, but it's really up to you. Anyways, I've got a piece right here. It is so warm, so I'm gonna eat this while you go make some. I'll see you next time.